Hello everyone and welcome to another iACast special. I'm Michael Doeys and I'm here with a group of folks today to talk about today's Apple event. We may have more show up, but currently we have Lynn Schneider. Hi Lynn, how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm great.
Fantastic. We have Marty Sobo.
Hey all.
And we have Taylor Arndt.
Hello everyone.
All right, so today was this little thing, we always look forward to called an Apple event. And they announced some things.
Couple things here and there.
A few things here and there. And not all the event was announcements. I kind of feel like, let's start with watches. And we got new Apple Watch Series 9s.
Which is the next generation. We're going from 8 to 9.
Yep, we're going from 8 to 9. And I kind of feel like these are they have bigger displays, brighter displays. I did not hear, I think they're always on displays, so that's good. And I don't think they did not put the action button on the watch on the Series 9. So
no, they did not.
Right, no.
The bands still work. We have new fine woven bands that are like a new mesh that's replacing leather. And I feel like they've taken... What are y'all's thoughts on these watches, the Series 9s?
Well, I was thinking there wasn't going to be a whole lot to upgrade this year. I currently am rocking the 8 large one with cellular.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, how much different could they really be from the one I have? Is it really going to be worth me upgrading? But once I saw some of the updates, like, for example, the double tap situation, and then how they're doing it's called the U2 or the U2 chip, actually, which expands range of being able to connect to other devices and also you being able to see other things around you. I don't know. I mean, I'm sort of on the fence, but it sounds like just even with like the longer battery life and the double tap feature is pretty cool,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Double tap is such a neat thing because you can answer and hang up phone calls. It's kind of like the Magic Tap with VoiceOver, which I think it's based on that. But I saw some posts on Mastodon that say, or on our WhatsApp group saying that's confusing between double tap and Magic Tap, like the terms. I don't feel like it is because VoiceOver users don't have or non-VoiceOver users don't have Magic Tap.
No, but
right, yeah.
I look at it. It was like similar to what we had was like the back tap on some previous model iPhones. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of similar to that. They're putting it into kind of a button form. I mean, into a finger form, like what would you call it? Like a gesture form based kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It seems pretty cool. Maybe I have to see what it looks like in practice.
I mean, it looks neat, and I wonder if you could customize it to like run shortcuts and stuff.
That'd be really nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Or it would be neat if you could just do that to like you're listening to a book and you just want to resume your book in your headphones. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Actually, you can because they showed somebody using the TV app, and they used a double tap with their fingers to start playing Foundation. So that's pretty neat to think about.
Well,
so the same? Oh, sorry, Marty.
I was going to say one thing that I was a little bit curious about, and I would have to check this out in practice and see. But currently, if you're a VoiceOver user, when you do a 2-finger double tap, that usually activates music playing or podcasts and stuff like that, generally audio. But that same gesture also hangs up the phone and answers the phone when you get a phone call. The thing about it, though, is if somebody else hangs up first before you can, and you hit that double tap, and then it acts as, starting up your audio.
Yes.
So my question is, if it's kind of the same, when you do that double tap, is that going to have the same issue on the watch?
Yes.
If you're talking on the phone and you don't get to do your hang up faster than the other person and you get disconnected, is it going to start activating other things?
Yes, it will.
That's my concern because
yes, it will.
Is it really the same though? I mean, it seems like it's the same as a VoiceOver, gesture.
I'm curious.
Although, wouldn't that be neat? Hey, wouldn't it be neat if that works in a edit field?
That would be cool.
Watch?
I think it would though, right? Because isn't a double tap global gesture, or is it limited what it can do?
Not sure.
So this double tap thing is actually going to be a sighted people's thing too, right?
Correct.
Yeah, everybody can use it.
Yeah, so it's not just limited to voice. It's not just
But it seems like something that came over from VoiceOver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a mixture of coming over from VoiceOver and utilizing the same idea is back tap on previous model phones. And then they're also making it so that you're just using your hand. You're not actually needing to physically touch the device to watch. You're just able to do it with your hand. And the whole point of this was if you're walking down the street and you got a cup of coffee in one hand, or maybe you've got a cane in one hand or anything, you're able to use your other hand to either answer the phone or hang up the phone or start and stop audio, whatever it is, you know? So I think that's kind of cool, actually. Because how many times are you walking down, somewhere and you've got a hot cup of coffee in your hand or some sort of a drink, and then your phone rings and you're like, oh, wait, how do I hold my drink and get my phone? And you do all that, so this way you just click to your thumb and your index finger together and you can answer or hang up the phone or whatever the case is.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
it makes a lot of sense.
What are y'all's thoughts on the Siri, offline Siri mode on the watch, on this new watch?
It could be interesting. It's better. It could be interesting. It has to be better than the Siri that we have now, because I don't think you could go any worse.
Yeah, I feel like some of it is technology they're bringing over from this past year's Siri technology, where they updated last year. Where the biggest thing was that you're able to give local commands without needing to connect to the internet in any way. Right. Because previously to that update, you couldn't do anything. Like you couldn't say start or stop something or restart my device or anything like that without the internet. It would still need to call home and then come back again before it could actually do the process. So like if you had no internet, Siri was useless. It didn't work at all. So once they implemented that, you can do local commands with Siri without needing the internet. So I think that if it works well on the watch, it would be a great benefit to a lot of people because, if you're not in a place where you have great data or you're not on Wi-Fi, then you could still do some commands. But my question is it going to work better? Because this past year, Siri was a dumpster fire mostly,
really, just neglected. It was neglected part of the ecosystem.
Correct.
And I can see where it's a really good use case. I mean, like if I go to the gym and I go swimming, but then I need to stop my workout, of course, I'm not connected to the gym's Wi-Fi on my watch because A, the gym's Wi-Fi doesn't go all the way to the pool. And B, that's just a pain in the butt. So it's like, it's hard for me to stop my workout because I can't connect to the Wi-Fi.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my use case for that feature.
Yeah. So I'm excited if it's going to work well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we kind of then move on to this whole environmental part of the presentation, and where they talked about, the Apple Watch Series 9 being the first zero, what do they call it?
Carbon
zero.
Carbon zero,
yeah, something like that, where it had no or carbon neutral or something like that. Where
something like that.
The Apple Watch did not take any impact to the environment. Now that's pretty interesting. I felt like they used too much. Like that event could have been an hour instead of an hour and 20 minutes.
You really think it could have been an hour? Because I would even thought like 45 minutes because
that was only about a 20-minute portion. Was when they did that.
I kind of feel like they did a bit of filler, really. I mean, I think that they needed to keep it at a certain time point to stretch it out and make it not seem overly short. But if they cut out the filler, I feel like it maybe would have only been 45 minutes.
But do you guys think that this carbon emissions thing that they took 20 minutes to do was kind of a celebration for them, and they just wanted to say, look what we did. We're proud of what we did.
Yeah, it was so much of a celebration.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's what it was. It was, we've done a cool thing. We want to show it off and really brag about it. That's kind of how it felt. And I won't go against them for that, because sometimes when you have a really big accomplishment, I'm fine with those kind of things, but I felt like it could have been done a little bit better.
Yes.
Personally.
Right. Now, I mean, there is actually a portion of the tech population and the investor population that is really, really serious about this environmental stuff. And, I care about it too, but I'm not super into it. But I think it's great. I think it's something that people should strive to, all manufacturers should strive to be carbon neutral if they can.
Yeah, I agree.
I definitely think it's a great idea. I mean, if everyone can do it, it would be so helpful. But I'm not sure that, a 20-minute video on it during a keynote was the right way to go about it. But that's just my opinion.
And would it increase your willingness to purchase it, knowing that it has that environmental aspect? I mean,
I think it's a good idea. I do think what they're doing is a good idea. I just am not sure that the placement of it was good. I feel like they probably did that whole thing, like I said earlier, was because otherwise it would have been, 45 minutes. They needed to add some filler in there. If they just went through the devices and those things, if they just went watch, phone, it would have been really only 45 minutes. Probably.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. It would have been like one of my Friday Finds shows.
I felt like Tim Cook was like really in a rush at the beginning. Like we're doing this, the two products.
I
blah,
did
blah, blah.
too.
Right.
It's like, why are you in a rush if you have so much time? If you're going to spread it out, at least like talk over things. I mean, maybe instead, I don't know.
The interesting thing about it being in a rush is it was pre-recorded. So
I know.
what was going? They should have been able to redo that.
I miss Steve Jobs. I miss that showmanship a little bit. Like, it wasn't just about the product, but it was about the people. Whereas this kind of felt to me like an infomercial that I would watch at night on TV for the super cooker or whatever.
Tim Cook did some great presentations in Steve Jobs style. He really did. And he had people like Phil Schiller and others come up on stage and talk, and they had that showmanship as well. And I feel like we don't see that anymore.
No.
Tim can still do a good presentation, but I think that we're starting to look at, Tim's been in the role for a while now, and we're going to start looking at a new CEO soon.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I have some ideas who it might be, but.
Well, I would say that it's not 100%. Like, I don't know if I agree with you 100% about there's no showmanship anymore, because like during WWDC, when Craig Federighi does his whole thing, he's got good showmanship, and he really like interacts with the audience, and he throws in jokes. And I mean, he really is good showmanship. So he's one that I think is the next generation of good showmanship.
Yeah. And they have their people that have that they still do. I just feel like I would love for them to go back to doing events the old way, but I don't think they are. They like the flair and the music and the animation.
Yeah, the polished aspect of it.
And it also prevents mistakes. It also makes it so you can time it exactly how you want. You can do it over and over again. And the day of the event, you don't have to be rushing around and being all stressed out and stuff. So they control the environment much better,
But I think there is something to be said for that spontaneity. Like, I guess when you see somebody excited about the product, really excited, it kind of gets you excited a little bit, where you kind of that enthusiasm or that energy, I guess. The energy is what I'm trying to say.
I agree.
Whereas
with you.
this just kind of felt like I was watching videos on YouTube about the new watch or the new whatever. It just felt very maybe a little too polished for me, I guess.
But the same thing here. The thing is, I think that we need these events, and we really need companies to keep doing these things, because we need to be able to look back 30 years from now and say, this is where this came from, right? We need those technological measurements to say the iPhone started here, and in 2023 it was here. right?
Makes sense.
We need these events, and because some people are like, well, do we even need Apple events anymore? And my answer is yes. We need that. Not just this does not, in my opinion, this does not sell iPhones or watches. This is what we've done. This is how we've innovated in the last year. And I feel like Google, Samsung, and others need these events to also be a measuring tool to see what progress they're making as well.
Right. Yeah. And also I think that I really believe that a lot of people would say, we don't need all the showmanship. We just need. But I think that, a lot of this is for investors as well, because it's really important. I think Tim Cook and all of these CEOs, these big executives, they're not just talking to us, they're also talking to their investors.
You know what, though? For Apple, it's a little different. On these things, they are talking to us. That an investor told Tim Cook that accessibility is a waste of time.
I did remember that. Surely I do. Yes.
And he said that is not Apple's culture. And so that's why I think that when they do these events, I mean, the investors want to see iPhones being sold. That's what they want.
They just want numbers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So these things are really aimed at us.
Yep.
Because Apple is a customer-focused company. They're not B2B. They're not, anything like that. They are to the customers, right? So
now, what's interesting is I've heard people say, like, these things shouldn't make the news. Like, the newest Apple thing should not make the news. This, and the newest Google thing, like, basically the media shouldn't be advertising these companies stuff for free. But I just think it's fun. I think it's fun. I enjoy watching it, and I enjoy seeing innovation. So for me as a technical person, I do like that. I enjoy it. But it's true. Should it be covered on the evening news?
Why not? I mean, I think it should. I mean, let people know who may not caught the event what's happening,
Right. I mean, if Duncan Hines came out with a new cake,
Yeah, but a new cake is going to just make us fat, whereas an iPhone can change your life.
It's going to make us poor.
It makes sense, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the iPhone and Android phones are life changers. Like this Find Friends thing that we'll get to in a minute. We've really gone on a tangent here. The iPhone and Android being on the news is important because it lets people know, like, hey, here's what you can expect. Here's how your life can be better. Of course, people always take that to here's how your life can be worse by doing terrible things to people, but that's not the intent, right?
The other thing, Michael, and Lynn and Marty, is that a lot of people may not even know what Apple events are, right? So if you tell somebody who's maybe not as technical, like, hey, there's an Apple event today, they're going to be like, what are you talking about? And so I think having it on the news as well just says, okay, this is what Apple released, may get more people to watch the events as well, who may not even know that there's an event that day.
Yeah.
I would say majority of people don't even knew anything came out today.
Or care.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's just my thoughts. But we had those things, and then we moved on to the Ultra, the Apple Watch Ultra. And, all of these, we got that new S9 chip, I think they said.
Something like that.
And we got the U2 chip where you can, ultra wideband version 2 chip where you can look around and find people and all those things. Really exciting stuff that's in all the watches. The new Ultra has a brighter screen, and it has the new modular Ultra watch face, which I'm really excited about. I want that. And it also has several other features for, just updating the processor and all those things, but it's the same body. It has the double tap and all those things. Are you guys any of you guys interested in the Ultra?
I go back and forth with it. Like, On one hand, yeah, it'd be really awesome to have. On the other hand, how much more would I do with it than the current model 8 or 9 or whatever it happens to be out, because I'm not going to be diving and doing all these other crazy things that people get it for.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to decide where the justification is for you. Now, some people think that just the battery life alone is justification, because I think the battery currently on the first generation almost lasts like 2-3 days before you have to charge it. Where I have an 8 Plus and I probably can get through about a day and a half, maybe a day, depending on what I'm doing and what it's doing and stuff. So that's huge. It also has the action button, which the watches, the regular 8s or now what's coming, the 9s aren't going to have that. And the screen's much bigger. So if you really want like the huge screen. So what it comes down to basically is, where are you willing to spend the more money if you're going to go that direction? What's your use case for it?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Maybe if you didn't have a watch or you had an old one, you might say, wow, look at the, this, like Marty said, I guess what you have to do is look at the new features and say, is this going to make my life better?
Right.
How's this going to help me or whatever? And everybody, I guess, has different needs, but
I mean, if you get a bigger screen, the action button, and almost twice the battery life, for a lot of people, that's good enough, and everything else is a bonus. And you find maybe a few of the other extra features and use those. Maybe you'll find something you didn't really think that you thought you would use, and you end up using it. So I guess you got to just decide if you're a hardcore diver or really into sports and you're doing extreme stuff like that all the time. Well, then it's got a ton of benefit on top of having the larger screen, the action button, and way longer battery life. So
yeah. See, I like the larger screen, way longer battery life, and that's enough for me to keep getting the Ultra.
Yep.
Yeah.
But do you think it's enough to go from the 1 to the 2, though?
Good question. I don't know, and that's why I'll tell you guys my plan for purchase of all these devices at the end of the show. But let's move on to the phones, because I feel like that's kind of where we went next, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we got an announcement of the iPhone 15. Super excited about all of these. The 15 itself, in the watches we got a new pink design and a new pink iPhone. But the one thing I have issue, I watched a video from iJustine where she's like, these colors are too muted this year, and I really agree with her. It's like a shade of white with a slight hint of that color, and I'm not a fan of that. I'm just not.
People like their bold colors.
Mm-hmm. And I think that the Pro lineup of devices had the bolder colors this year, which is interesting because of the metal colors and all that for those. But so you have like a pink, yellow, black, and a blue iPhone 15. The black one is the darkest of them all. The blue is just kind of like an off, and I think there's a silver. It's kind of an off color of the silver. All of them are, except for the black one is really dark. But I'm just not a fan of the 15 colors. 2 cameras, no LiDAR. There's the A16 Bionic chip in there, which is one on the iPhone 14 Pro last year.
They added Dynamic Island, which they didn't have last year, and USB-C port.
Well, yeah, they have the USB-C port and the Dynamic Island, but the reason the Dynamic Island is there is because this phone has the screen from last year's iPhone Pro models. So
it's basically a 14 Pro, basically, is what it is. And they added USB-C to it and gave you the new external design of, the new lineup.
Yep, exactly. So, I mean, it's neat, but it's not like you could buy an iPhone 14 Pro right now and get pretty much the same features.
Yeah, but if you want USB-C and you want the Dynamic Island, then you're gonna...
Well, Dynamic Island...
Well, actually, the Dynamic Island was on the Pro already last year. But if you want USB-C, you got to bump up.
And I don't think that you're getting... From the sound of it, the USB-C may not be the 10 gigabit USB-C 3 that we get on the Pro model. So it may be kind of slower than about the same as Lightning. Maybe
but
a little
then again,
faster.
like I guess I've been on the Pro path. So I've been, but if you had the regular iPhone, say the regular 14, maybe you would be happy with the regular 15 because it's a step up.
Right.
It does give you some more features than you had before, but you would have the cost benefit, right? You wouldn't have to pay as much.
Right.
So like, I think we tend to be like a geeky and we want all the bells and whistles. And we expect that when you get a new phone, you're going to get more bells and more whistles. But some people just want a phone that's new and maybe has a few more features. And so they're okay with that.
Yeah.
But and actually, Lynn brings up a good point, because if you do go from the 14 regular to the 15 regular, you're actually getting even a new processor on that upgrade, because the processor from the 14 wasn't the same as the 14 Pro. I believe it was the 13. So if you're going from the 14 to the 15, I'm talking about the regular model, not the Pro model, you would get a processor bump up one notch, which would now take you to the 14 Pro processor in the regular 15, if that makes any sense.
Yes. Right. And I'm guessing since these are OLED displays, you're going to get always on display. I'm guessing. I'm not sure. They did not say. So, and you're going to get a USB-C cable to charge your device. And they also announced that you'll be able to charge your AirPods. Even the Lightning AirPods will be able to be charged with your new iPhone. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, the charging port goes both ways. So you can charge up your watch or charge up your buds or whatever the case may be. It's kind of cool.
Because it is a USB-C port now. Just like on Android, we're getting those same compatibilities.
Now, really quick, I'll say right here, just so everyone knows, in terms of the AirPods, they are going to USB-C only on the 2 Pro version. So that's the only ones, as far as I know right now, that they're updating. And they're not changing the buds at all. The only thing that's changing is the case is going to have a USB-C port instead of a Lightning port.
Yes.
So my question is, and I'm not sure we even ever found out, but can you buy just the case and have a USB-C
from
port?
what I saw on Mastodon. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. Then you wouldn't have to spend so much money, especially, if you already own a set of AirPod Pro 2s and you really only are looking for the USB-C, then you can get that at a lesser price because you just take your old buds and put them in the new case and you're rocking USB-C. That's great.
I was really hoping for some AirPods 4.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Now, they also did bring the wired earbuds with USB-C. They used to be Lightning, and now they're USB-C. So all of the things are going to be USB-C here pretty quick.
It's interesting. It's interesting that they still have the AirPods. Or,
earpods?
Earpods. They would be.
Earpods. The earpods. You would think, I don't know. Do people... Well, sometimes having wired buds is my sister said she likes it better because she always forgets to charge up the Bluetooth and
in my opinion, having a pair of wired earbuds in your bag or on the go or whatever that don't take up a lot of room. If you get into a situation where your buds died because, you ran out of juice or any kind of situation like that, it's great to have something you can pull out, plug in, and just work and not have to worry about finding a cable, finding a wall to charge them up or anything like that. You can
do you have enough charge in your buds to get through this long meeting, that you're going to go to? So wired is always, I'm so glad that they're actually keeping them. Yes.
Yep. And they're just going to be USB-C now. So that's great.
Yeah. I try to use all Bluetooth when I can. Of course, when I'm podcasting, I use wired, but in gaming, I use wired, but it just depends on the situation, really.
Yep.
So we got new iPhone 15s. I believe these are going to start at $799. I'm not sure the watches are the same price. The Ultra, I know on the watch is going to be $799. So not much of that has really changed.
They still have the SE on the watch, and they didn't make any changes to it, but it's still available.
And the SE phone is still available too at $429. So
right, and then they also have the 13 Pro and the 14 Pro available for purchase if you want to have a little bit of a discount. But they got rid of the Mini. They took it off. It's not available anymore.
The Mini is gone, unfortunately.
So bummer for the Mini fans.
Yeah, and we do have some that listen to the podcast, so we really, understand.
Yes.
So on to the Pro models. We got an iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. They're running the A17 chip, which is the latest technology, 3 nanometer, which this is going to be what the M3 processor for the Mac is based off of.
Yep.
And the iPad.
Yep.
And it has ray tracing for all of you gamers out there. We have ray tracing now. Woohoo!
Already.
And I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited. That's not sarcasm. I'm totally excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
We have I think they're running 6 gigs of RAM from what I've heard. We're seeing them start with 256 on the Pros and go up from there. The Pros start at $999 and go to, and the Pro Max is is it $11.99 or $10.99? I don't remember. But it is a little more expensive just because of the new camera system. We'll spare you guys the camera system, but it is better.
Actually, now I was going to say that it's the funny thing is that, like, as a blind person, I do care about the camera system now because I do a lot of things with my camera that I never used to do. I'm not only OCR, but now I'm taking pictures of images and getting Be My Eyes to describe them. And so, you just wonder, like, are these apps going to work better with the better cameras?
I think eventually they will. They're going to have to implement the changes, but
right.
I think any camera that's better, will work better with the with these apps. At least if the apps have zooming capability and all those things. Some do not. So,
but one of the things about the Pros that I thought was really interesting was, sorry about that, my phone is the 3D sound, right? There would be 3D video and 3D sound.
Yes, so that's what really have me excited, and they're going to be able to do 3D videos for the Vision Pro, which I'm really excited about. And the other thing they'll be able to do is record to a external drive for video. Super excited.
This is something I'm excited about. But you can plug in any drive and you can back stuff up to a USB-C drive, whether it's a USB-C external hard drive or whether it's a USB-C thumb drive or anything like that. It's great that you can actually plug something in directly to the phone without issue, no adapters needed, and you can back up data or, a number of other things that you can do.
The other thing that the Pro model has is the action button. And I'm super excited about this action button because you'll be able to unmute and mute your phone just like before, but you could also reprogram it. So I saw things like accessibility options can be set there. The magnifier app, live voice, all these other things are able to be done there. Huge benefit, I think.
And I think they also added some haptic feedback to it when you're using the button. You can hold it in, it does a thing.
I'm wondering if this is actually going to be a button or a haptic button. What do you guys think?
I don't know.
I think I'm going to guess that I think it's going to be a haptic button.
You think?
Yeah. Because they already have that technology. I mean, they're using a haptic button on the home button for years, They just move it to the side and put a smaller button on it.
Like the more hardware buttons you have, the more it could break. You know what I mean? That those
right.
Those
the more moving parts,
things that
makes sense. Yeah,
somebody gets gunk in it because of they spilled soda in it or whatever. The button doesn't work.
Plus, if they want to add new features down the line, if this is something that's going to be there for a while, then really they're just doing it through software.
This phone will have a better screen, up to 3000 nits brightness, so it's going to be great. USB-C on the Pro models that will go up to 10 gigabits for transfer speed, which will be great. And
well, what's cool is on the Pro versions, both the regular and the large, they have that always on the display. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing about this is the opposite of what you just said. You can go all the way down to one nit.
One nit. Now, we don't know if the always on is on the 15s itself, since they have OLED now, or if that's just on the Pro models.
We'll have to find out and see what's up with that.
Yeah. And apparently Apple is selling a $30 adapter USB-C to Lightning, so you'll be able to use your Lightning peripherals on this new phone.
Yep.
These are going to be made of titanium, so that's a little bit of a difference. The 15s are still aluminum, but the 15 Pro and Pro Max are titanium, and they'll be in 4 colors. There's like a blue titanium, which is going to be in the cart for me on Friday. There is a kind of a slate black, a silver, and I think a gold. Or was it pink? I'm not sure.
I think it was pink. I don't think they have a gold in anything this year.
I don't know that they do, but I'm getting the blue one. So,
yep.
But that action button is also neat because you can do things like Siri shortcuts, or I saw the magnifier app and all those other things. So there's a lot of options. There again is no SIM tray on this phone. So on the regular and the Pros, so you will not see that. And the Pro Max does have a better camera system than the Pro. So keep that in mind.
Yep. 3 cameras instead of 2.
And my phone decided to activate Siri.
That's awesome.
So it's just mad because it's about to be outdated in 3 days. When I pre-order my new phone.
Yep.
Trade-ins are going to be very beneficial if that's something you do. So check that out. And am I missing anything? I feel like that kind of summarizes everything.
Yeah, it really does.
I would say the last thing is, why don't you let everyone know when all the new operating systems for everything will be coming out?
So iOS 17 and iPadOS 17 for sure will be out next Monday, the 18th. The release candidates are out today for beta testers, but we don't know about macOS yet. I think that will come later in October.
I think Watch is also coming Monday.
Yes, Watches as well. So be on the lookout for those. Update when you can. It does fix some bugs, especially some accessibility bugs. So I would be, if I were you, I would update. Would you guys, do we as a panel recommend update?
Well, it depends what you have, but
yeah.
If you have a 14, I'm not sure, unless you really want USB-C. Oh, you're talking about the operating system. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm definitely updating.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because I think it fixes some Braille bugs and things like that. So,
and I'm definitely excited for the Apple for the Watch update. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a significant update, actually, and it's got some really cool new functionality that we don't have now. So I'm really excited about the Watch update. That's one of the operating systems I'm most excited about this year.
And one thing we did not see, or they at least didn't call it this, the rumors did say, and I was wrong on the last podcast about a telescoping or periscoping lens. They did not talk about that at the event, but that was one of the rumors, so I did have that incorrect. But that was not talked about today. It might be the same technology they're using. They're just not calling it that. So I just want to put that out there for the record.
And we did have a couple of questions about the actual lenses, and people were a little bit confused on, do the lenses actually move or not? And they don't actually move. So if it sounds a little bit confusing, whether they move or not, they actually don't move. All of their capabilities are done through software, and they don't physically actually move.
Technically, under the glass, they do move a little bit. That's how the optical image stabilization happens. They have
but I mean, they don't come out of the,
right. They don't come out of the phone. There are Android phones that do that, but iPhone does not.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Yeah. So,
and I think sometimes like people are, sort of sound like they're underwhelmed with what they're seeing, but I think that when it comes to hardware, it's the software that really brings the hardware to life. So, I think once people see what the software can do, it's going to really bring home, exactly the power of the hardware. You don't really understand the power of the hardware until you actually see apps running on it or things being done with it that are really cool. I mean,
well said, Lynn. Well said.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I'm really excited about is they have this new Find Friends feature where you could actually look for your friends with the new phones. And I'm super excited about that. We're going to have to wait for more people to get iPhone 15s, but you could be at a conference or something and be like, okay, where's Lynn in that crowd? I hear her voice, but I can't find her.
That'll be on the watch as well, I believe, correct?
What's that again?
Oh, that'll be on the watch as well, I believe,
yes.
right?
Yes, it will.
Yeah, it will be. That'll be helpful for us, Michael, because, if I can't find you.
I know.
Yep. Yep.
We could play Where's Lynn? Instead of Waldo, it could be Where's Lynn?
So I don't know. I guess it depends. I mean, a lot of times people are like, oh, it's just boring. It was underwhelming or whatever. But again, when you see actual apps running on this stuff, when you see people actually doing stuff with it, then you sort of understand the power of the hardware. You understand that, yes, this is definitely a step up.
Mm-hmm.
Like the 3D sound, like I can't wait. I hope that it's the 3D video, right?
Yeah, 3D video is using the same stereo microphones that we've always had, that we've had for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was hoping that would be better. But it's good now.
We'll see where it goes because, you'll be able to record video that people can watch on the Vision Pro. And I'm wondering if how you'll be able to watch those videos on the iPhone. So that's going to be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. You guys have any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
Nope. I think that about sums it up.
Okay. Marty, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Mastodon at marty@unmute.community.
Okay. Lynn, where can people find you online?
And you can find me, you can write to me at feedback@fridayfinds.show. And fridayfinds.show is where you can also find my podcast. Fantastic.
And Taylor, how about you?
So you can find me on Mastodon at TAYARNDT at Techopolis, TECHOPOLIS.social.
Okay. You can find me at Mike Doeys at techopolis.social. You can email me at mikedoeys@icloud.com. And you can email the show at feedback@iacast.net. We did get some feedback email after the presentation, so I'll be looking through that, and we'll talk about it on the next episode. But I want to thank everybody for being here. This has been a great kind of wrap-up episode, and we will be back this weekend for episode 195 of the iACast. This will be out pretty soon on the feed, so I hope you guys enjoy it. And I want to thank Marty, Lynn, and Taylor for being here. This has been a great discussion. We've kind of gone over everything. I'm sure there are things that we've missed. There's always things that we've missed, but we'll talk more about them on Saturday if we don't have something. So, also I'll talk about my pre-order experience and how well that goes. So,
and if anything comes out randomly throughout this next week, then we'll keep you posted on that as well.
Yep, for sure. So, thanks everybody for being here, and we'll probably have another special next week after some other events that are coming up. So, we will see you all then.
See ya.
See you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you for tuning in to the iACast. We hope you enjoyed the show and found the conversation to be insightful and informative. If you have any feedback or comments, we'd love to hear from you. Please send us an email at feedback@iacast.net. You can also follow us on Twitter at iACast Network to stay informed about new episodes and other updates. Don't forget to check out more great podcasts on the iACast Network, iacast.net. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again soon.